Hi parents, how's it going? So for many of you, you are experiencing some more distance learning at home at the beginning of a new school year. So instead of going over different math things, I'd like to express some ideas on how you can make distance learning just a little bit better at home. First is great communication with your teacher. Your teacher is working so hard to make sure that distance learning goes well for you and your student at home. If you're experiencing any troubles, do make sure to reach out to your teacher. We're still learning alongside you, but we're super thankful for everything that you're doing for your child at home. Next, I notice a lot of parents already do this, but make sure your child has a quiet, comfortable place to work. I recommend not having them on the bed, but at a desk if you have one, or with a chair and a table, in a space where it's relatively quiet. We also find that headphones with the microphone work very well. Sometimes just the regular headphones are a little hard for Zoom because they can hear the teacher, but the teacher can't hear them. If that does become an issue, but your child does need to use those headphones, make sure your child unplugs the headphones when they speak and then plugs them back in when they're ready to listen. For math, we always recommend great discussions in math at home. So if you and your child really struggle with math and it becomes a fight, I challenge you to take a step back and to look at math in a different way, especially if your child's teacher is teaching it in a different way that you learned. I always like to pretend, and sometimes I don't even pretend, that I'm confused with what the problem is asking me to. Instead of diving right in and showing them exactly what they need to do, ask them questions like, well, what does this say? What does this piece mean? What is greater than or less than? Which digit is this? What place value is that? What did your teacher say? And usually with that organic conversation, your child remembers what has been taught to them that day, and it's a little bit more helpful to them. Also, I really recommend a website called Toy Theater. If you go to Toy Theater, in the top right-hand side, there's a place for teacher tools. This is free access that anyone can use. But they're online manipulatives that they can use. They're actually kind of fun to play with, and they really help when learning those difficult math skills. But the biggest thing I want to tell you is your child is not behind. I always say this, and I've said this before quarantine even happened, all children are on different levels. And it might take longer for one child to unlock a level, or it might be faster for a child to unlock a level. And if your child is struggling, it's actually a good thing to struggle, to a certain extent. We're so quick to want to help them when they fall and bruise themselves and make everything okay. But in the classroom with math, it's good to let them struggle and say, I think you can do this. And after a certain amount of time, stepping in. So something fun that we do in my class is we call it the struggle bus. And I challenge them to work on the struggle bus for a certain amount of time. Now what I do is I start off very small, and they think it's very silly. And I say, okay, I want you to be on the struggle bus for 10 seconds. You're gonna look at this problem for 10 seconds. And with the whole 10 seconds, you can't ask me a question. I want you to use your knowledge of the workbook or the textbook or the manipulatives to think if you can come up with it. Then the next day you might work up to 20 seconds, and the next day 30 seconds. By the end of the year, I have my scholars trained about 10 minutes of struggle time. Now, of course, there are some instances where I do step in before that 10 minutes time, but I want them to feel comfortable with, I can sit in this and not know exactly what I'm doing right away and still find the tools to help me succeed. And lastly, parents, I want to say, you're doing an amazing job. So many of you parents are putting so much stress on you. And I just want to say, from an outsider, I think you all are amazing. Some of you are working full-time jobs, some of you are stay-at-home parents, some of you are in the home working, some of you are out of the home working, and each one of you is just incredible helping your kids. Teachers are here to partner with you, and we thank you for everything that you're doing. Best of luck with distance learning or whatever learning your school has chose to do. And remember, your scholars not behind. They're just on another level.